Wow, wow, wow. What a game of footy, man. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Nick from Australia, and holy crap, what a game of football that was. Melbourne Storm versus Penrith Panthers down there at Amy Park in Melbourne. The Storm winning 30 points to 24. That was a cracking game of football, man. What a classic game, man. Melbourne Storm 30, Penrith Panthers 24. How about that for a grand final rematch, man? The Panthers lose Nathan Cleary 7 minutes into the game. They were down 14-0. It looked like they were going to get beat by 30. And then all of a sudden, a lot of their young guys like Jack Cole, guys like Blaze Talangi, guys like the fullback, Thomas Jenkins, they all stood up, man. They all played very well. What a game that was. I enjoyed it. 5 tries apiece. Obviously, goal kicking from the Panthers definitely hurt them. Paul Alamotti, 2 from 5, man. Not good. He'd be disappointed with that, the goal kicking situation. But wow, what a game. Melbourne get a bit of revenge from the grand final. Definitely wasn't convincing, but you'll take a win. Win's a win these days, man. Win's a win. Hello to the live chat. Hello to SS Storm fan, William Pearson, Joshua Sami, everyone that's here. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hello to Tane. Hello to River. Hello to Luke Melbourne Storm fan, Kieran Sports Vlogs, Rishi, Jean, everyone that's in the chat, Bosky. Hope everyone's doing good. What a game, man. What a game. I think this game tonight between the Storm and the Panthers, we learned a lot about Penrith, and I know it's boring for a lot of people to talk about Penrith and how good they are, but they just showed what they can do without Nathan Cleary. Like we've seen in the past when Nathan Cleary's been out, the Panthers have struggled in some games against some teams. But because obviously they used to have Jerome Luai who could take that extra bit of pressure and really go to the next level and win without Cleary. But a guy like Jack Cole, who, me personally, I've never really gone much on Jack Cole. That was one of his best games ever tonight, man. As the main organizer, his kicking game, his last tackle options, they were quite good. And he and Thomas Jenkins, half the reason Penrith even stayed in the game. Same with Isaiah Yeo. He, without those blokes, they get smashed here tonight. They would have got hammered without those 3 guys, without question. Unbelievable. You know, you had Paul Alamotti end up on the wing at some stage. You had Brian Toto get a double in like 6 minutes. It was pretty crazy towards the end. If you're a Melbourne Storm supporter, and you support the Storm, you'd obviously be very happy that you beat the Panthers and you got some revenge from the grand final. But you'd also be a little bit annoyed at yourselves. You're thinking, how did we nearly lose to the Panthers who lost Cleary? Like they were up 14-0. And then Cleary goes down and it was not looking good, man. So if you're Melbourne, obviously you take the 2 points, you move on to the next game, you get on with it. But you'd be a little bit disappointed with how close the Panthers kept this game. Like when Cleary went off, I was like, this is going to get ugly. Melbourne will win this 28-6 or something. They'll win this pretty well. But they just didn't do it. Panthers looked really good, man. They played well without Cleary. And unfortunately, Paul Alamotti's goal kicking was a bit of a letdown towards the end. But the Storm are going to find some. I mean, the Storm are going to fix some shit up, man, because far out it. If Nathan Cleary doesn't get injured, do the Storm still win that game tonight? I honestly doubt it. I honestly doubt it. The mood Penrith were in and the momentum they had, the way they were playing, if Nathan Cleary doesn't get injured, I am willing to bet the Panthers probably win the game. But that didn't happen. Nathan Cleary got hurt, so I don't know. But I don't know, man. The Panthers, you can never write them off. They're a champion side. They've won the last 4 grand finals for a reason. They just know how to do it. The Panthers would have beat most teams tonight. I'm telling you right now. Especially the way they played in that second half. They would have beat most teams, man. But obviously the try scorers from tonight's game. So for the Storm, you had Grant Anderson, who had the first one. You had Eli Katoa, Xavier Coates, Tyron Wishart, and Ryan Pappenhausen. And for the Panthers, there was a double to Paul Alamotti. Casey McLean got one, and Brian To'o got a double late in the game. So the Panthers, obviously they scored on both wings. They looked really good on the left-hand side there towards the end. But, yeah, just an unbelievable game, honestly. Two great sides, 2 top 4 teams, 2 teams that you know are going to be thereabouts at the end of the season. So it's going to be very interesting to see how both these sides go throughout the year. But if they play like that, they're going to be up there. I mean, obviously, these 2 sides are the favourites to be in the grand final for a reason. And I think that game just proves why. Like, pretty incredible game. Let's talk about some of the standout players. But first, let me have a look at some of the stats from tonight's game. So, Harry Grant had the most tackles. No surprise there. 45 tackles. Isaiah Yeo had 42. Brian To'o had 219 metres. He was great, Brian To'o. Jack Howlett had 150 for Melbourne. Alamotti had 3 line breaks. Pappenhausen had 1. Let's have a look at some of the other stats. Look at the forwards. Stefano and Josh King both had over 130 run meters. Katoa had 109 in the back row. Everyone else for Melbourne in the middle was under 100. Although Tui Kamakamefa off the bench had 78 meters. So good stuff there. Not sure why Nelson only played 22 minutes. Not sure what the go is there. Maybe he's just coming back. First game or whatever. Maybe they're just not going to rush him in, just ease it back into the side. For the Panthers, though, Brian To'o, like I said, he had the most meters of the game. Alamotti had 169 meters. For the forwards for Penrith, Lindsay Smith, 107. Isaiah Yeo, 134. The back row for Penrith, a little bit quiet. Both only had just over 50 meters. Sorensen and Martin. Liam Martin tonight got absolutely frustrated by Munster. Munster got under Liam Martin's skin, and you could see towards the end, Liam Martin was pissed off. He was losing his shit. Munster got right under his skin tonight. Brad Schneider didn't get on the field because he was moved to 18th man. Don't know why they still got him on the bench here, but anyway. Isaiah Papali'i off the bench, 73 meters. I thought Liam Henry for Penrith was outstanding at running for 97 meters off the bench. Obviously, Thomas Jenkins at fullback was great, and Casey McLean had a very good game as well. I must say as well, I thought Blaze Talangi really fit into the Panthers team well. He looked really good at 5'8" when he come on the field. He looked really solid, man. So good signs for him and his development at the Panthers. But overall, a really good game of football. Melbourne, look, you know, win's a win, right? Like, you'll take any win this time of year. If you can get away with a win that's not that convincing, you'll take it and you'll move on. But, you know, we talk about the Melbourne Storm being the premiership favourites, being one of the top teams in the NRL. Well, they just struggled and barely survived the Panthers, who were without Nathan Cleary for about 72 minutes of that game. So if you're Craig Bellamy and the Melbourne Storm, obviously you wouldn't be panicking or freaking out about anything, but you'd be a little bit pissed off with your main stars and going, why did you struggle against a halves combination that had never played together before? And why was the game so close? Like, Melbourne should have won this game by a lot more than what they did, considering Cleary got injured and he didn't come back because of the HIA Category 1 and whatnot. So if you're a Melbourne fan, you'll be a little bit disappointed. You'll be a little bit disappointed with how close that ended up being. Like, if Penrith had won that game, we would have been talking about how Melbourne choked and how gutsy and gritty the Panthers were. But I saw a lot from Penrith tonight, man. Like, I know next week they're going to be without Nathan Cleary. They're going to be without Dylan Edwards still. And they're playing the Rabbitohs at a cool stadium. With all due respect to the Rabbitohs, the Panthers will probably still be favourites next week. And I would not want to play Penrith after they just lost 2 in a row. So I'm not going to say it's impossible for South Sydney to win next week, but South Sydney are going to have to be as close to full strength as possible next week, and they want to hope they avoid some big injuries on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. So Panthers and Souths next Thursday night will be interesting. If Penrith lose that, like, that's 3 losses in a row, that'll be what do I always say in the commentary? It'll be un-Penrith-like, but good stuff from the Storm. Solid win. And next week, the Storm, they'll take on the Dragons out at Cogger. And look, the Dragons beat the Storm last year down in Melbourne, like round 25 or whatever round it was, late in the year down in Melbourne. So I don't think Melbourne would have forgotten that game. So, they'll be ready for a bit of redemption there. So that'll be a good challenge there next week, Storm and the Dragons. But anyway, guys, my player of the game, there's a couple you could probably choose from. There's a couple you could probably go with. I'll give you top 3 for me. Top 3. So number 3, I'm actually going to go with Jack Cole. I thought Jack Cole was very, very good. Number 2, I'm actually going to go with Ryan Papenhuyzen. I thought he was outstanding. And my player of the game, I'm going to go with Cameron Munster. I thought he got under the skin of Liam Martin, and he played really well, set up a couple of tries and whatnot. So Cam Munster is my player of the game. Storm win by 6. And, yeah, what a game of football it was. Absolute classic. All right, guys, that's going to wrap things up from my end. Obviously, tomorrow night, I'll be in Brisbane up at Suncorp Stadium for the Broncos and Cowboys game. So I won't be doing a review for Warriors Roosters, as I'll be at the game, and I probably won't see much of that one. So I'll try and do a Broncos Cowboys review at the stadium, or maybe outside the stadium when the game's over or whatever. We'll see how we go. I'll definitely get some sort of review out for that Cowboys game tomorrow night, as I'll be there. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up the review. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Have a good Friday. Looking forward to Broncos Cowboys. Should be great. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Would really appreciate that, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. And goodbye for now.